Josh, you said you have a voice coach?
Vocal coach, whose father is Seth Riggs, who trained Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder. He created this thing called speech level singing. And so Katie, who I met at like a gym, we became friends and then she helped me out. And now I work with her boyfriend, who's like, it's these really weird like vocal warm-ups to like protect your cords or heal them, but it's weird. And I do them on the street when I'm walking to shows and people are like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, whoa, it's really weird. I'm not going to do them now because
can you do one?
You gotta be like, so you're like, whoa. I'm embarrassed. Don't take all this out. Don't leave any of this in.
I love the vulnerability.
This is the pre-show. It's interesting. Oh, I forgot that you sing too. So I was wondering if you were doing it for performances for like stand-up purposes just in general. The voice is our instrument.
I think, and
you have such a specific voice.
Yeah, and I just for years didn't protect it and just would sing or talk or scream or do whatever. And so then I had to have vocal cord surgery in 2016.
Wow.
Which sounds worse than it is. It was literally like a simple in and out of the doctor's office procedure. They put you under, but they just clip the nodule off, and then it got way better. But now it's like I'm touring all the time. I'm doing the jam all the time. I'm doing the jam like 4 or 5 nights in a row, and you just blow it out. And so it's like I've had to like concentrate because like that's my stand-up has become this jokes, music, everything. And I one of the things that I'm proud of, and that is one of my talents, is how well I can sing and how powerful my voice is. And the natural male singing voice starts to deteriorate at 35. So you have to do these things. I mean, if you saw what I eat and what I like do to, the nasal sprays, the over the counter, and like
it's a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's like, but I feel the difference, and I'd rather do that and then be able to do all this stuff. Because, dude, I do voiceovers nonstop. It's like when you get a call for a commercial, you have to be like, it has to be perfect.
I think about the pressures on a singer right before their concert, and kind of goes along with our topic. But like that moment, like, do I have it to hit these notes right now? Like, am I ready? Like how they felt in the morning, it could change everything.
Oh, there was that video of the girl from the Dixie Chicks doing this big concert, and like she's 2 songs in, and she just goes, "I can't do this," and just walks off. She apologizes because you can't give them the show that you want. Adele's had the vocal cord surgery 4 or 5 times already.
Oh wow.
And
she's bowed out from concerts, right? Well, I think illness. She was sick this last one, but yeah, if you singers, they know they can't hit it and get the songs done. They have to cancel.
Did you ever see this one video? They were at the Grammys where Adele is doing a song. She's covering a George Michael song, "Fast Love," which is like an upbeat like dance song, and he had just died, and so she's gonna sing it, and her voice like is a little off, and she stops in the middle of the performance, like right at the beginning, cusses, which was on live television, which was awesome, and then she's like, I gotta start this over, like I'm doing this for George, I want to nail this. You guys don't care, and it's like, yeah, we fucking love you. And then she just nails it, and it's like that's the importance, I think, of like being able to sound right. That's why it's like, I'm not like in a real band. I'm singing at a comedy show. But still, it's like if I'm going to sing "Living on a Prayer" and make up the words to it, I want the words that are coming out of my mouth to be the right.
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Music, I don't know. It's like at any moment I might quit comedy and be like, I'm just going to be a singer-songwriter. Like I have no idea what the future's in store. So.
Yeah, I thought of Frank Sinatra when you like were explaining all of that stuff, because one of my favorite songs is "Just in Time."
Which one is that?
Just in time. I found you just in time. You don't know that one?
I don't know that one, but I just really started getting into him again from
But I read
podcast.
his biography, and he just talks about how he had just like such a, every sound mattered to a certain extent. But when he sang that song, the version that I like of it, he like starts it over like 8 times. So like, take it again, Johnny. And then it's just like, dun, dun, dun. It sounds great. So yeah, it made me think of that. His mother was an abortion doctor. Hey, everybody, this is Top 9 Podcast. My name's Tom Cassidy. My co-host is back from the old country, Adele Carollo.
Back from the motherland. Yeah, I'm into it. Keep it coming.
Yep.
I love it.
I like the little monkey with the tee. We have Josh Adam Meyers with us today. He's doing Top 9 concerts.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, it made sense right now because, you know, my buddy Angelo Bowers, who everybody should look up his clips, he passed away in 2012. Brilliant comic, but we would talk, we loved music. We talked about music, and we would talk about what we would do and who we would go see when we had money. And so, yeah. And so, you know, that's why I go to, dude, this in the past 2 weeks, I went to Rage Against the Machine 5 times. I saw Blondie, David Gray, and I just go to shows at the drop of a hat because it is. And I, you know, just to be fair, I take psychedelics at most shows, you know, because I really want to absorb it and have like an experience.
Acid?
No, more natural. I like natural stuff. So mushrooms. Okay. It's always mushrooms. I will do DMT and I will do ayahuasca and maybe peyote and mescaline, but I want it to be with like.
Can you move around with DMT? Because I did a sketch where we like fucked with a dude on DMT, and everyone was like, he couldn't even be out right now, like, because the guy said he was on DMT and he was able to like have a conversation, but like I saw so many YouTube comments where people were like, he can't even they act like you can't exist on DMT.
I don't know if that's true because
can you?
I've never done it, but I was in Venice, California after a show once, and there was they call him like a Venice Beach shaman, and he's like a very big, like the guy was like, you know, he was just out there talking to people, and I started talking to him about psychedelics, and he was like, if you want to try DMT, I have it right here, and he had a vape pen of DMT, and I was like, no, isn't that like this whole experience? And he's like, no, you can microdose it and still get some of the effects and see the geometrical, is that the word? Shapes?
Geometrical shapes of the universe.
Thank you. Yeah, but it's like if I don't do drugs anymore to get high. It's not about getting high. It's about healing something. Like if I'm going to do mushrooms before I go to a concert, I set an intention of like, okay, I want to feel love tonight.
My friend recently told me, she's like, you need to throw up your ex-boyfriend. You need to like vomit him. Get the demons out.
You have to
take fucking ayahuasca, lick a fucking cactus.
Yeah,
mushrooms.
And a lot of people do go on those ayahuasca trips, and you know you can't do those kind of things willy nilly. Like it needs to be like, I'm going to heal X. These are my issues, and that's where at 42, it's not like I just want to fucking get high and just fucking listen to Rage Against the Machine. Like I wanted to like feel it on a level that I couldn't before.
You want to figure out the machine you're going to rage against.
Oh man, well we all know it. Dude, fucking libertarians, bro. Yep. They're coming. They're coming for us. They're coming for our student loans.
We're looking at you, Dave Smith.
Yeah, Davey. But I've been doing like the reason I chose this, because I've got a lot. I've got a couple honorable mentions that I have to throw out. Okay. Because
save them for the end.
All right. Okay, I'll do that for you. But
this is a top 9 list. You sent us 16.
I can't recommend, if you live in a big city, to all the listeners and to both of you, if you live in a big city and you have a night off, utilize what that city has to offer.
We just got to start looking up like concerts in New York City tonight and just go, right? How do you find your concerts?
Exactly that way.
Okay.
If I have a night off, the Shins, I am not a fan of the Shins. Okay. I remember them from Garden State. And my buddy Morty, who's a big music nerd, was like, we were talking about, should I go see Blondie? He's like, go see Blondie. And I'm like, all right, I'll go see Blondie.
What's the Shin song on Garden State?
There's woo. I see how my voice is bad. It's like woo.
Oh yeah.
I
know it.
That I can't sing it though. But I'm glad I went because he said go see the Shins if they come around. And I took mushrooms. I was at Radio City and I was like looking around. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And the music started and I was like, okay, it's okay. And then they played their final song of the night and I was like, I like this. And then I left the concert. And I was like, what was that final song? And I looked it up on setlist.com and I just, it just like hit me and I just listened to it over and over and over.
Found a new song.
And it would
the best feeling.
It was worth the $75 for the concert if that one song is now, because it like got me emotional.
Absolutely.
It was great. So, and it's called, if anybody wants to know, it's called Sleeping Lessons by the Shins.
Sleeping Lessons by the Shins. I'll put it up here if you're watching this on video.
It's great.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, let's get into it, baby. Josh Adam Meyers' top 9 concerts coming in at number 9.
All right, so this one is more of, it's an honorable mention, but I'll put it in at because you said the top concerts and you want the last one being the worst.
No.
Well, that's what Adele said. So I'm going with it.
Adele,
No, your
you
least
bitch.
favorite is 9.
Okay, this is my
Number
least
one is
favorite
number
of
one.
all of them.
I said it right.
This is really probably
Okay,
number
so we're starting at number 9, which is your least favorite.
of all time.
Okay.
But this is like really number like
You've been to, like, a million
175.
concerts.
I know,
Yeah, okay,
but
I
I'm
got you.
putting this in here because
got
the
you.
story is good.
Great.
Okay.
So Lollapalooza, and I think 2002 was a touring festival that went around all over the country. It wasn't just in one place like Chicago. It was the last of the touring Lollapaloozas, I think. And it was Jane's Addiction, Incubus, Audio Slave, The Donnas, Jurassic 5, Queens of the Stone Age, like a bunch of great bands from the early 2000s. And it was in Northern Virginia at this place called the Jiffy Lube Center. And on the way there, I got a ride with my friend Jenny, and we were drinking like road beers on the way there. And it's 11 in the morning, and I'm just getting hammered.
What city is this?
This is the Washington D.C. area, but
Okay.
we're going into Virginia, to Northern Virginia.
Got it.
So when we get there, I run into some friends, and they give me some Vicodin. They give me like, I don't know how many I took, but I took a few.
Pardon me while I burst into flames.
Oh man, I was I was feeling it, dude. It was great. I was having a great time. And then next thing I know, I try to fart and I shart. I shart in brand new Ralph Lauren white boxers. These are like $18 a pair. Not a huge mess, but enough that it's like I have to go to. There's no.
And you're going to Lollapalooza. It's not the Warped Tour.
Yeah, Warped Tour. You just fucking go in shit in pants and just live, bro.
Yeah, that's the outfit.
You gotta see no effects, man. You're not letting anything stop that. But I was like, fuck, man. I gotta clean myself. So I try to find a Jiffy. What do you call it? Like a little porta potty.
Sure.
There's not one, and so I go into this like ditch and I have to take my pants off and I think use the underwear, the clean part, to clean my buttocks. I'm trying to clean it up, not to say butthole.
Sure.
My buttocks.
Appreciate that.
Then I get into the concert, no underwear, and I am wasted. And this is what I've been told happens. Okay.
Oh, no. This is a recap of somebody else?
Yes.
Okay.
So I am just belligerently drunk. The festival has just started. They start trying to, the security hears me or whatever. I'm being obnoxious. I get forcibly kicked out early, right?
Jurassic 5's playing?
I think so, dude. Like Donnas, I remember seeing the Donnas. I remember them doing their one. You gotta shake it off, shake it off. And then when they kicked me out, all my friends are still in there. They have no idea, like, if what's happened to me. I walk around to the back of the festival, which I'm assuming is through forest, because it's like a pavilion. It's an outdoor pavilion. There's a 30 or 40 foot high fence. I climb the fence and then fall, hitting the ground through into trees and bushes, just beaten to shit. And then the next thing I remember is I just wake up in the pavilion part. Now, I guess it's the lawn part. Just covered in like dirt and cuts, like just like get up and like Audio Slaves on, like wow, yeah, and I'm just like, and
So you're still in the venue. You weren't kicked out.
I got kicked out of the venue. I climbed a fence to get back in
okay, I'm
illegally.
sorry. Yeah, gotcha.
And then I guess I just like drunkenly passed
you
out
on the way
lawn.
down, and
I
then
slept for a little bit, and then wandered into the lawn area.
rock
and, then,
and roll,
and then
baby.
Fell asleep again, and then
Seriously.
woke up, and all I caught was Audio Slave and the like Jane's Addiction. But I was just
That's
so
sick.
like just fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
It was a bad.
I
one.
can't imagine how many people saw you have this story too.
No, but well,
Dude, you're a
This one
goddamn
time.
refugee for rock and roll.
this is all. See, listen, none of this has been 100%. What's the word I'm looking for? Like proven,
Verified.
verified. But I remember.
Do you remember climbing up to get back over?
Yes, that's why I'm saying I remember. I don't, and then I
Yeah.
remember being at the top of it, like whoa, and then like it catching my shirt and then like ah,
Yeah.
and then I land in this fucking like pricker bush, and I'm just like ah. I fell asleep, and then I like and I like just like
Yeah.
like that part in
Like
Kill
a
Bill.
cartoon. soon.
Yeah, it's that part in Kill Bill where Uma Thurman just climbs out of the grave and she's covered in the dirt and she's just like, "Can I have a glass of water, please?" Like that was me.
Man, that is
a great
fucking-
number 9. I'm sorry.
Hey man, that's really numbered like 250, but I just wanted to throw it in because I think it's a great story.
Yeah. No, I don't think about that enough about how number 9 should be something like that. That's bad because it's the 9th one. He's making the show better, folks. Coming in at number 8.
I wanted it to be one of the honorable mentions,
Sure.
because it's look. I always say this about those kind of events. Those are things that used to make me feel bad about myself, but when I tell them on podcasts or I tell the story and I get laughs out of it, it's like, oh, I'm glad I did that. I didn't hurt me. I'm here. I'm doing great.
But you could have easily died, and whatever, it is what it is, but you didn't. You know?
Reports of a man climbing a fence with no underwear on.
Yeah, but you're right, though. It's crazy how that works of like having those type of experiences make your comedy better. It's weird how like I'm not saying that's a mental illness, but what I'm saying is like it's weird how like comedy rewards mental illness to a certain extent.
You can take
unlike anything else.
But you can take negative baggage that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I've done. When being my friend, Ryan Sickler and Jay Larson have that podcast or had the podcast at Crab Feast, and I was on it 11 times. And a lot of my early fans were from that because I would just be an open book of all the shit that I had done. I was just like, oh, I can't believe I did that. What a loser. And then you tell it on these podcasts and you get thousands of fans like, oh, that story is so funny. And then it's like, oh, you took a negative and made it a positive, and I think that's kind of what the whole purpose of this life is.
That's what Vicodin is, folks.
Yeah, dude. Proud sponsor of Top 9. Vicodin ES.
Yep.
All right, coming in at number 8. This is a band that most of you guys might not know, but there's a British band called Gomez out of England that had a real moment in 98, 99, and 2090. I think 97 or 98, they won the Mercury Music Prize with their first record, which is like a big deal in the UK. It's kind of like winning Album of the Year at the Grammys. It's way more prestigious. A lot of huge British bands. Radiohead's won it. PJ Harvey's won it like twice or 3 times. She's the only person to ever win it multiple times. So it's like because I feel like the British respect music more than Americans do. And I think they also create some of the best music in the world because of the weather, with the moodiness, and it just sets a tone.
Yep.
So I got into Gomez when I was backpacking through Europe in 1997, and then they started coming around in America at the 930 Club, and I went to go see them. And in around 2002, I was in college at Towson University in Baltimore, and I had started dating this girl, and I had a lot of financial issues. It was a rocky summer for me. I had gotten my second DUI. I got fired from my job at the Crab House for stealing a cup of cream of crab soup, even though I was going to pay for it. They still fired me because I didn't ring it in first. But I was like, I was going to pay for it. And they're like, no, you're out of here. I was like, I paid for it every time. They just were like shit bosses.
Was it really good soup? Is that why?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
But it's got crab in it.
Wouldn't you get free soup for working in the soup kitchen?
They fired people. They were just these 2 gay dudes that I think one of them or both of them were
2 gay fishmongers?
Just I feel like we should cut that out. I'm kidding. But they were just so bipolar, and they would fire people that had worked there 8-9 years over nothing if they just got on one of their episodes. And it was this really bad summer, and then I started that year of college. I think it was my second year at Towson, and I was drinking heavily and partying and working at a Carrabba's. Do you know what Carrabba's is? It's like the Outback Steakhouse version of Italian food. And
when you're here, you're kind of related, but don't fuck my daughter. That's their slogan.
So it just money's tight, and I'm drinking too much, and my life is right at the beginning of I'm about to drop out of school and just focus on music and which was a really rough period from 2002 to about 2004. It was a really rough time in my life.
Tough time for the country too.
Yeah, it was. What was going on?
It was in the wake of
Iraqi war.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you're right. So Gomez is performing at the 930 Club, and me and this girl are hanging out.
Where's the 930 Club?
Washington, D.C.
Still, we're still in the Washington, D.C. area.
It's 930 Club is arguably like there's going to be a lot of concerts from the 930 Club, which is really it's crazy.
Why do they call it that? Do we know?
Because it used to be on 930 F Street. It's where it's really where a lot of like hardcore punk rock started. Minor Threat started there. Fugazi started there. Bad Brains. I know that not Rollins Band. Black Flag did a lot of shit there. The DC hardcore scene was big, and that club is this institution. Like Dave Grohl did part of his documentary on HBO about the 930 Club and the DC music scene, which and I've seen hundreds of shows there. About I think it was June 23rd. Because of the DC Improv, we did for their 30th anniversary, we did a goddamn comedy jam there.
Oh, cool!
Which was out of all the shows I've ever done, it was one of the most important ones.
That had to have been a full circle moment for you.
I mean, I've taken the talent pass they gave me, I've framed it. Like it's one of those moments that you have to like take it in and be like, I'm so glad that I've like followed my dreams.
Yeah.
And we sold it out like 900 people. It was crazy.
Is there balconies or anything like that?
It's
the setup? What's it look like?
Arguably one of the greatest music venues in the country, and this is not just me saying that. This is Rolling Stone Magazine, NME. There's a balcony with a VIP section, but you're kind of like literally like it's a rectangle like this, and if the stage is here, the balcony goes around there. And the stage, and this is what's cool about it, if it doesn't sell out and they still want to create the element that it's super packed, the stage is movable. So you can move it back and forth to pack the room out even more and bring it up. You know what I mean? So and there's not a bad seat in the whole place.
Are you pro balcony, or where do you want to be at this place?
Depending on how old I am, I'm right now I'm at the side stage kind of like VIP area.
Sure.
Like I don't really ever have bad seats anymore.
You're calling your cousin Marvin. Marvin, you got to hear this.
Oh, dude, I have so many hookups for tickets now. Yeah. It's stupid, but generally I like to be. Most of the time I like to go by myself because then I can just, if it's not a seated show, then I can just walk around and I can get close to the stage. I don't have to worry about somebody being like, wait, where's Tina? And she's like, I'm right here. Hold on.
Yeah.
So
I love being center balcony. That just as high up, fucking eye level with the performer. That's my favorite.
That's a great one.
Adele, do you have one?
I want to be as close as possible.
Okay.
On that
That's
bench.
Nice too, yeah. That's the difference between music and comedy, too.
on.
You want to get your sweat on?
I want them to get their sweat on me.
Really?
John Mayer just sweat on me.
We can make that happen. You know that. It's like you're 2 degrees from John Mayer.
And I saw him
Josh,
perform.
don't play with us.
I saw him perform at the Comedy Cellar with fucking Gnome, and he was 3.5 feet from my face. So it happened already.
Oh, did you say anything to him?
I did. Sherrod introduced us, and I just said, "Nice to meet you." It was pretty lame. And he was so tall and beautiful. He had this big old head, and he just was massive.
Whatever. I like John Mayer more than you, so shut up.
Whatever.
Okay, so back to
That's my John Mayer. It's a good one.
It needs work. The man's an angel.
He is
Sorry.
an angel. I like his music. As I've gotten older, I really dug it.
Yeah, you can appreciate it as you get older. I think. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's get back to it.
So this is this weird time in my life, and I'm in the year before in college. I had made this student film in film one with my group, and we needed a song for it. And I recommended this Gomez song called Steve McCronsky, and it's very dark. And the movie that we made was dark, and we put it on there, and it worked perfectly. And I had this VHS copy of it, and me and the girl are hanging out on this Tuesday or Wednesday night, and she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Man, I'd love to go to this 930 Club show," but I literally had maybe $14 to my name, like no money at all.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, maybe if we just go down there, why don't we go down there and you try to give them your film? I don't know if it was her idea or my idea, but I was like, you know what? I bet if I go down there, I just want to give them a copy of this because I love this band so much at the time. And so we jump in her car, we drive down. We get there early. The show hasn't started, but the van is out front, and they're unloading, and you could see like British people milling around. And I go up this one dude, and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "Are you with Gomez?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually their tour manager." And I was like, "So I have this this movie I made in film school, and I used one of their songs on it, and I would just love to give it to them. And I don't know how to get. Are they here? And he's like, no, they're all setting up, or they're at the hotel still. But he's like, why don't you just give it to them after the show? And I'm like, well, I don't have tickets for the show. And he goes, oh, I can change that. He goes, all right, so I'll just put you and her. And I'm like, yeah. And so then he puts our names on the list. We go to the show. Citizen Cope opened, which I don't know if you remember Citizen Cope.
You made me actually, for some reason, I swear to God, while you were telling me this story, I thought of Citizen Cope. I've seen Citizen Cope like 3 times.
He's great.
I love Citizen Cope.
Dude, great.
Yeah,
white boy hip hop folk.
Dude, I don't even think he's white. I think he's something. He's transcended. He's like a shaman of some sort.
He is. And dude, he
I think
killed it.
He's old as shit, too. Like older than you would think. But yeah, he's the man. I love Citizen Cope.
Yeah, he was probably 40 in 2002 when I went to the show, or at least he looked 40.
He's like, dude, he also like, because I've seen him not that long ago, and he like talks so slow.
Yeah.
But like, he's the man. I love him so much. And that's so cool that he's at this concert.
He opened, blew us away. It was like the first record had come out for him. And then Gomez comes up, and me and the girl just have the best time. We're right up front. Dancing. I know all the words of the songs, and then that started a relationship then with the band, because I got to meet them after the show, and I give them the copy of the VHS, and the guys, I forget the Brian, I think, was a tour manager, and he was just like, yeah, email me anytime we come around, which then led to me seeing them 14, 15 times over the next like 10 years.
Oh, sweet.
Amazing.
So that was great. And it's just that moment of like, this is something that even that happens with me all the time, is that I have this thing where I can just make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a very important skill to have in show business.
Yeah, it really is.
Even believing you can make shit happen will make shit happen for you. Like if you say, I'm going to show up and something's going to happen, or exactly what I need to happen, and you do that.
That was it. That was everything I needed to happen. I got into the show, and the tickets weren't even that expensive. Probably like $25 a ticket. But I had so little money.
More than your net worth at the
time. Way more.
Did the band ever watch the
No idea. No idea. I never really got to meet them. I did.
You never actually met them.
I met them. But
also, what a cool tour manager, by the way.
Just the best. That guy, I still have his email. It's an AOL. I forget what it is. There's like 19 letters and characters, and then at AOL.com.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, the band doesn't really tour anymore, but the 2 lead singers of the band, Ian Hole, I think it's his last name, and then I can't think of the other dude's name. They tour together, and I've seen them in LA right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just saw them in New York City right by the Cellar at this little like cafe theater. But I mean, it seats maybe like 500-600 people. That's too much. 200. Yeah. But still, it's like, I've met them before, and I've talked to them now, and I've never mentioned the VHS. To be honest with you, this podcast is what got me to remember that whole story.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, I've just loved the band. And then I was like, oh, but then, because it makes me think of that girl, and that girl was a fucking bitch. Because like a week later, like after spending every night together, like hanging out, she just like ghosted me for a week. And I was in such a shit time in my life. I had like a full breakdown. Mm-hmm. And then finally I got in touch with her. And then it was just like she like almost played on my emotions to get things, like buy booze for her party or whatever, because I think she was like 20 and I was 22 at the time.
Mm-hmm. But she also motivated you to go to the concert too.
Yes,
she was an angel and a devil all wrapped in one. There's nothing like really liking a chick when you're young. Oh my god,
I used to fall hard. I used to fall really, really hard.
I know. I heard about that first concert.
Fall hard.
I don't. No, I don't.
I want you to.
So do I. But I think that's right now I'm okay with just being alone. And I think that's a better thing.
Listen.
He's going to say something mean.
No, I'm not going to say anything mean. I'm going to say, like you said, you're 41, 42 years old.
42.
Dude, people who fall really hard like that when they're old, it's like, dude, grow up to a certain extent.
Lame-o.
No, it's not that. It's like you should be able to let someone in and be sad. But like people who are overly emotional about a chick, it's different when you're like young because you haven't experienced it yet. But eventually you have to learn from that shit and not be a pussy.
He's right.
It's just but yeah.
I'm able to now like.
Also, nobody heard when he was like, I never fell hard. And I was like, but remember the number 9 concert when you fell? Nobody picked up on that joke, so I just wanted to bring it back. Oh, just so we know too, Whenever you can come
So
back,
funny.
if it's next Friday, that's great. But this is a 2-part episode. We're not going to rush through this because it's an out. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool.
And whenever you do,
That's why I'm glad I
whatever.
got 17 more.
No, we're still keeping
You're
it
so
9.
good at storytelling. We don't want to rush you. Like,
I just don't want to rush through it.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
we'll get to what we get to.
All right.
But this is number 7.
Let's go to number 7. All right, I'm just calling this one number 7 because it's fresh in my head.
Okay.
Rage Against the Machine Night 4 at Madison Square Garden.
So
Wow.
specific. When I saw your list, I was like, night 4, so specific.
I went all 5.
It's a 5-night event.
Yeah.
5-night event.
Yeah.
I became friends with Tom Murillo right before the pandemic through Ahmed. We hit it off when we met. We talked music for hours at the Hollywood Improv. And then a couple days later, Tom texts me and says, hey, we're hanging out at Rock and Riley's. Do you want to come? And I'm like, I'm in Irvine, just an hour away. I'm like, I'll be right there. And I've never sped faster from Irvine, California to West Hollywood to meet him there. I think I got there in less than 45 minutes, and it's an hour drive. Big ups to Porsche Macan S. Great car. Miss you, baby. While we're there, I say to him, hey, man, I want to go to your El Paso concert. Do you, when are you guys going to put the tickets on sale? And he says, he looks at me, which is the coolest thing. He goes, Josh, you really think I'm going to make you pay for tickets to see us? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to be that guy. And it's so funny because eventually I became that guy when they came to Madison Square Garden because all those shows got canceled. They're coming to Madison Square Garden. We're buddies now. He's done my podcast. You know, we text every once in a while. And I'm dealing with.
Is that relationship as magical as you would want it to be in your mind?
It's
before
perfect.
You had it?
It's perfect, dude. It's dope because
it's perfect.
we talk music, we talk life, we talk politics. Like he'll say something, you know, or like sun somebody on Twitter that like tries to like be like, you're the machine or you don't know anything, and he's like, dude, I'm a Harvard graduate in like political science. Trust me, I'm capable of being able to say what I just said and know that it's right.
Yeah.
But we're just buddies. And dude, he actually was something really cool was a few months ago, he texted me out of nowhere and he's like, hey man, I recommended you to vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So now I'm a part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Get
So
the heck out of
yeah,
here.
dude, I voted. I only
My lord.
only 2 of the people that I voted for got in, but Judas Priest, I don't think Devo did, but yeah, it's cool. Like he's
Very
a homie,
cool.
and this is somebody that like, man, I was like I can remember the moment I heard Rage Against the Machine, like at this hockey game, my friend Greg was playing, and like the older guys that were playing Killing in the Name of Our Freedom, and I was like, oh, what is that? And it was like a life-changing record. And so I'm now 42. They're playing Madison Square Garden. I reach out to the tour manager. I say, hey, man, I'll take every night if I can get it. But specifically the one that I really need is Tuesday because I have like Big J's going, Christine, Brendan Sagalow, a bunch of other people. And Tim says, all right, well, I'll get you Tuesday for sure. Well, Monday comes, the first show, and I just hit him up, but he doesn't get back to me. So I just buy tickets, take mushrooms, go to the show. It's incredible. Night 2 comes. It's the next night. Me and Jay and everybody go. I get free tickets, floor seats. It ruled. Wednesday, day off. Thursday, I reach out to the tour manager again. He says, dude, it's like I got to try to get other people in. He goes, hit me back after 5. Hit him back after 5. Dude, the list is full. I'm sorry. So I called one of my plugs at Live Nation. He gets me an inexpensive ticket, but a good seat for like $150.
So you're going to start saying you were going to scale Madison Square Garden.
I fucking climbed the fence, got in there. I hid in Patrick Ewing's left sneaker. No, but I go to the show, and after the show, in the morning, I always texted Brad, the drummer, who I'm friends with through Bill, and Tom, and I'm like, dude, incredible show. And Tom, Friday morning, goes, wow, you've been to every show so far. You're treating us like fish. And I go, man, it's like I'm having the best time, dude. Like, also, when you're changing the lineup, you're changing the set list, I want to be there just in case you play Fistful of Steel. Now, that night, I had a show actually at the stand at 9:30. So in my head, I'm like, I can't go to the full show, but maybe I can buy a ticket from one of my plugs and just do my show at 9:30 and then run to Madison Square Garden, miss about 45 minutes of the show. My plugs don't come through. It's 8:20. I get out of my shower. I'm literally getting dressed to go to the stand. And Tom texts me and he goes, yo, we're playing Fistful of Steel tonight. Are you coming? And I'm like, I can't get a ticket, man. And he goes, hit up Tim. I got you. Dude, the seat that he gave me was like literally Right next to the stage on the side, on his side, sitting right below me on the floor is Tom's wife and his 2 kids. And sitting even right next to me is fucking John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son, who I didn't realize was Denzel Washington's son. I just thought it was this black dude, and me and him were vibing. We were talking music and blah, blah, blah. And Tom's rocking, and he like points at me during the show, and it's just fucking it just rules.
Sure.
And then after the show, it was really funny because me and John, you know, we talk to Tom's wife, and then she leaves, and then we start walking, and that's when it hits me who the guy sitting next to me was. And then I get recognized in front of him, and they're like, dude, sing. Like the audience guy that sees us is like, he's like, dude, sing one of your like ski-ba-doos. And I do whatever the fuck I do. I take a picture, and John goes, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I'm a comic. And he's like, oh, cool, I'd love to see you. I was like, yeah. I was like, you're an actor, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, can I ask you a question? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And I go, can you please explain to me the plot to Tenet? Mm-hmm. And then he just starts laughing. We dap up, don't exchange numbers. Maybe I never see him again, but we had this beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And the reason why that show was so great,
I would have asked him what his dad smells like.
Money. Probably smells like Russell Peters. Probably. Incredible. Mm-hmm. And so then I go to night 5, which is Sunday, and I'm adding this part to the story because it meant so much to me. Is that after they finish a show, their last song was always "Killing in the Name of," and then the lights are on.
Cool.
And then, you know, the music stops. Tom takes his guitar off, throws it to his roadie, and then they celebrate with us. Like this weird way. They've done it every night where they're just like, they're cheering us on. You can feel the gratitude that they have for us, even though we're just like, dude, you just murdered us for an hour and a half. They don't talk. They just fucking murder. And I'm there with Jay on the last night too. I just start like weeping because it was such a beautiful moment. And not just that, but it was because Tom made me feel a part of being there. He reached out to me and was like, we're doing your song tonight. I want you there. Here's a ticket. Like, you're a part of this. And it's like, it's another one of those moments where you're like, man, it's like, Burr said this to me a long time ago when we were doing something cool. And I was like, I can't believe we're hanging out here. And he goes, see what happens when you follow your career? Cool shit. Cool shit happens when you follow your career.
How is this not your number one?
Because it gets better.
Oh my God, how?
It just does.
Well, I would say
I'm magical. I'm the Forrest Gump of comedy.
I want a piece of it. Like,
well, it's kind of
let's hang out. Let's go to a concert.
You come see Billy Joel with me. He's one of my honorable mentions.
Oh my God.
I've seen Billy Joel.
I would love to see Billy Joel.
Once a month, I take mushrooms and I go see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden by myself.
I've seen it. It's great.
Do not miss it. If there's people
bottle
out there,
of red, bottle of white.
I cried during that. I cried during that. During the fucking I'm just that in Vienna, and also Vienna's Don't Ask Me
nice.
Why. I love
It's
it.
a good one. So I feel like you kind of like have mastered the art of suggestion in a good way.
How do you think that? What does that mean?
A couple different things from that story you just told. Like the one thing of like, hey man, when are the tickets going on sale? And he's like, Josh, do you think that you're gonna have to pay for a ticket? But even more so of like you asking the drummer, like, hey man, are you gonna play that song? So like, if you didn't say that, he doesn't hit me up.
No, he doesn't hit me up at all.
Because the drummer was like to him, he was like, hey, Josh mentioned that song. And then that put him in his head to put it on the song. And then he got you in there. So yeah,
it made the set list because of your suggestion.
Dude, it's I still think about it and I still get emotional thinking about it.
There's an art to that is what I'm saying.
Oh, I think, look, you have to put out to the universe what you want. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm not going, hey, can I have tickets for your show? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think there's ways of being charismatic for asking for things. I think I'm taking it a different route than you are. Like, I know how you're saying it. It's like
I think they're related to what we're saying, but
suggestion, it's
law of attraction bit going on there.
For sure, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure.
How was Run the Jewels at the concert?
They were great.
Cool.
I love Run the Jewels, but I'm not a huge fan, but now I am. Mm-hmm. Like I'm really like I dug their set list. I love LP. They brought them out and did the song they did with Zach De La Roca, which was just great.
Yeah.
Live hip hop, it can be difficult, you know, because it's like it's just a DJ isn't the same as a full band and the energy. But they did a really good job of amping the audience up. But honestly, everybody was there for Rage. Like Zach De La Rocha broke his foot on the first or second show of the tour, and he had to sit on a roadie case every night. And I've never felt somebody control the energy of that room. And it was so palpable that like him just sitting there, it was like I studied it for not just the goddamn comedy jam, for my stand up, where I'm like, I want to be able to do that with an audience to get them, you know, and I'm kind of starting to really get that in my set, where it's like I can get them to if I'm high energy, I can get them to follow me. And it was just, it was so magical. You know, and then I told you that celebration at the end every night, it was like, I didn't want to miss that. Every night it got bigger, and it was just love. And, you know, you'd watch the mosh pit and somebody would get knocked out and then they'd all help him and pick him up. It was a really beautiful experience. And on Mushrooms, the first night, it was like, it was just like, it changed.
What are you taking, like a full eighth? Something like that?
I'm 3 grams to start.
Okay.
And then I might go when the music starts. I might go. Yeah, I might take another 2. Usually about. I have a guy that I shouldn't say this. I get them very, very easily, and I get very potent ones.
Gotcha.
So I trip probably about at least once a week. Sometimes more. Just depends.
Gotcha.
It's my medicine. It really does make. And dude, I was glowing for like a week after the concert, not just from the concert, but the Mushrooms. I'm talking from the first night.
That was like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was. I think the 8th and the 9th, and then the last show was on the 14th. It was great, man.
Nice.
Awesome. Coming in at number 6.
Number 6. This one is a very special one because it was unexpected.
Love that.
So it's 2004, 2005. I'm living in Baltimore, and there's this big festival in the summer called Artscape. And Artscape was in the center of the city, and it was just artists putting up, you know, their installations, and there were cool parties and cool bands that would come in. And they had this one big stage in the center of the festival by MICA, which is the Art Institute in Baltimore, where, if I'm not mistaken, the lead singer David Byrne went to school of the Talking Heads. And so it's just like, it's got this history, and me and my buddy Bindfest are going because QTip.
Your buddy's name is Bindfest?
Matt Bindfest.
Okay.
Gotcha. He was, I don't give a fuck. He was like my party dude. We used to do a lot of drugs together.
Gotcha.
And I love him to death. And we were going to Artscape, and we're partying with his girlfriend, and we wanted to get to the main stage because QTip from Tribe Called Quest is performing. And I love A Tribe Called Quest, one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time.
Me too.
Him as a solo artist, you know, there's a couple songs, but I'm hoping he's going to play some Tribe songs.
Low End Theory, 1991. There's never been a hip hop album that's better since then.
Think so?
I mean, it's just beyond anything. For the time, 1991, Low End Theory?
It's brilliant.
What the fuck are they doing? An album came out today, JID's album. It might be just as good. Let's stay on track here.
I'll check it out for sure, because I actually saw somebody mention it today.
It was really good. It's really good. But okay, I love QTip.
So we go to the show, and we're doing, you know, we're doing some party
2004.
favors. 2005.
Gotcha.
We're doing some party favors. I mean, even 2006. It's just in this chunk, and we're doing some party favors. And
Cocaine.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're drinking, and the show starts, and he starts doing some of his solo shit. He starts doing like Vibrant Thing.
Good song.
And then after like a couple songs, he goes, you know, this don't feel right, man. I just don't feel right at all. And the artist's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, this don't feel right. I feel like I need my DJ here. Where's my DJ? And then the next thing you know, Ali Shaheed Muhammad comes out and gets behind the turntables, and everybody's like, oh, fuck, no shit. And then they're like, they start doing the beginning of like a Tribe song. And then he goes, this still don't feel right, man. This still don't feel right. He's like, I need my brother. He's like, Phife Dawg, where you at? And then Phife Dawg's little ass runs out, and they just play an hour of A Tribe Called Quest songs.
Man.
And it's just, but it was so unexpected. It was like, oh my fucking God. And we just, the whole night, we were just glowing. Great concert.
If I was there, this would be my number one. I don't know.
Really?
I mean, that's unbelievable. Just a surprise Tribe Called Quest concert and the showmanship to do it like that, too.
I mean, it
gives you a few fucking QTip songs. That's just like such a good setup to that, too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, their songs are good, but like something. Yeah, man.
He has such a
man.
recognizable voice, Q-Tip, right?
Yeah.
Probably one of the most recognizable. The only person that could kind of sounds like him is Magoo from Timberlake and Magoo. Do you remember that little moment they had?
Sure, of course.
They did the Knight Rider theme song.
They did a lot. They were with Missy Elliott. Misdemeanor.
All I know is that song. I would call it a lot.
They had like 4 albums together, I think. Maybe more. But yeah. Okay.
Only that one song is the one that we take away from that, though.
Okay. I mean, Timberland is one of the best producers.
100%. Timberland.
Top 5.
Timberland.
It's on the top 9 producers.
Suit and Tie, Justin Timberlake, fucking Get Your Freak On.
Uh-huh.
I mean, incredible producer. The stuff he did with Nelly Furtado.
Yeah. The Tribe Called Quest album that came out right when Trump won and Phife Dawg was dead is such a good album, too. And then El Shaheed Muhammad was on that, and then who's the other Tribe Called Quest person? There's one more. And the original, the first album.
Phife, Jarobi, yeah. But he's more of like a hype man.
No, but he was on that album too, and it was just crazy how good he was, because it's like he hasn't been on something in like 25 years, and he still raps amazing.
I gotta fucking re-listen to that record.
It's a great album. It was also literally the Friday Trump became president. That's really cool that we're recording this on Friday too. Like, I love consuming new music on Friday. It's the best.
The albums used to come out on Tuesdays, and now they come out on Fridays.
Yep, I remember that.
Or they come out whenever they want now.
Yeah, but Friday is the day. Tuesdays were cool.
Tuesdays were awesome, man.
Yeah,
Did you ever like wait, stay up until midnight, go to the record store and buy a record?
Tuesdays when it was physical CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the store. I don't think I've ever done that. No, I just woke up early as shit.
You?
Sure. Yeah, probably.
You went at midnight?
No, not at midnight.
Who?
No,
Oh.
on Tuesday afternoon, my mother drove me to Bay Terrace.
Monday night, I left my graduation party at Cheryl O'Neal's house. Me and 2 other guys, John Moyer and I forget who the third was. Kinte. We went to go get Wu-Tang Forever, and then they all went back to the party and put it on.
Bees.
And I went to my house and just put on shitty headphones and just sat in bed and listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the last great Wu-Tang record.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Fish Scale by Ghostface. I'll throw that in there. But everything else after Wu-Tang Forever fell off.
Yeah, College Dropout came out when I was a freshman in college. And I remember going to get that before I was going to college. Like, just the day of class. Like, I went early. The G-Unit album came out, too.
G-Unit?
You're right about rap concerts not being as great. Like, that's unpopular opinion. I'm like not so into concerts because most of the concerts I've went to have been hip hop concerts.
I think you would choose the right artist. I know Kendrick probably puts on a good show.
He's the one person I haven't seen yet that I'm so mad I haven't seen yet, but I've seen everybody else.
I would go see Kanye because I think visually, I think artistically, it'll be something.
Yeah.
Saw My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Kanye concert at the Revel Casino in Atlantic City. Unbelievable. He had a bunch of ballerinas.
Yeah,
it was fucking amazing.
Beautiful.
I know what you mean, but there are really good hip hop concerts.
I gotta go to more concerts.
I saw Outkast when Aquemini came out, and the opener was Black Eyed Peas pre-Fergie, and Black Eyed Peas and Outkast put on one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But then, and this is one of my honorable mentions. I'll just throw this in quick while I move on.
Don't you dare.
No, but I have to because this is what I'm talking about. Hip hop, it's right on. So I went to go see Wyclef Jean at Towson University in 1998, right when that record had come out, The Carnival. And we were so excited to see him. But the opener was this DC go-go band called Junkyard. You might not know their songs or their name. But go-go is a specific music to Washington, D.C. with a lot of drums. It's very black cultured style of music. Literally only black people do it. But there's a famous song by Junkyard you might know that's like, sardine, hey, and pork and beans. Ka, 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 ka. It's just, they rule. It's a DC thing. And so, in Junkyard opened, fucking murdered. Wyclef came out, did a half an hour, and he goes, yo, let's just get Junkyard back out here. And then Junkyard came out and played another 2 hours. Cool. And it was just so cool because it was to see the reaction that the audience had. They didn't give a fuck about Wyclef. Junkyard blew them away.
Yeah.
And it was really cool too, because it's like, oh, like I understand why this music is so powerful in the DC area. And it's still, I think it's even more special because it's only a DC specific music. Like they don't tour anywhere but in DC.
Yeah. It was Hometown Heroes, baby.
Hometown Heroes.
I met Wyclef Jean once. He let me wear his watch. I was an intern at Wired 96.5 in Philadelphia. He did a couple songs. Gone Till November, great song. Coming in at number, where are we at, 6 or 5?
We're at 5.
We're at 5.
At 5, it's Paul McCartney at the Capital One Arena, formerly the Verizon Center, which I will be performing with Bill Burr at on September 15th.
Nice.
If that's not a
Paul
good plug,
McCartney.
I don't know what is, folks.
That's a pluggy. So Paul McCartney was coming around, I think it's 2006. I'm in my final year of college at Towson, and my sister was in between. She just finished medical school, and she's doing her residency at Johns Hopkins or University of Maryland in Baltimore, in pediatrics. And I didn't have a lot of money, and so Jody is like, hey, I'll buy us the tickets. Just meet me in the district. And we drive down, and we have this great Chinese, dinner at some place in Chinatown. And then we go to the concert, and we're sitting. The seats aren't great. They're like kind of what you liked, which is that back row, above everything. We're in like if the stage is there, we're like here, but on like the beginning of like the bowl kind of turning up.
Okay, it's weird incline.
And the show starts. And nobody in our row is standing or dancing, and me and my sister start to, and you can just tell the old people are getting annoyed. It's Paul McCartney, like it's one of the only living Beatles.
Yeah.
And so I go to use the bathroom, and I notice that that as you walk out into the concourse, it has all of the boxes, with the different companies rent or like own or whatever in the arena. And most of them are packed except for one of them. And you can get into it it's literally like this. All you have to do is lift yourself up and jump over this little thing. And then you have a box to yourself. And so I go to get my sister, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to go get us. Like, I'm going to get into that thing, and I'll let you in. And I do. And then Jody walks around. She goes up the floor. I let her in. We have a whole box to ourselves.
Stop it right now.
This just happened to me before. I love it. It's the best thing imaginable.
And this is where it gets funny. Like, because we were in such a shitty section where nobody was dancing, and they're just old people sitting there enjoying Paul McCartney. And me and my sister are fucking like singing and going crazy. And then we see people, and they're like, hey, you guys got room up there for us? I'm like, sure. And then one of the security guards comes up, sees those people. He goes, hey, you can't let them in here. You guys paid a lot for this box. You can't let other people. I was like, you're right, dude. Fuck those poor people. And then me and my sister just rocked out to Paul McCartney, and there were snacks and drinks. And
Oh, man.
That's fucking amazing. It takes balls, but the payoff is pretty fucking spectacular.
it was the best way you
And
could have
then
seen it.
Jeffrey Epstein showed up.
I'm such
It
a
was
goody
his
two shoes. I would
box.
probably be like, no, Josh, you can't do it. Ugh, I'm so lame. I probably would be too scared.
That happened to me at the Childish Gambino concert at Madison Square Garden, and it was low. Like,
You
I
snuck
like
in?
him, but it was maybe the best concert I've ever seen in my life, based off of where I was, just dead center.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that shit.
It's always look for the angle. Always look where you can finagle. Take the risk. The worst thing
Angle and finagle, they rhyme too.
Dude, thank you.
You got to rhyme too when you can.
Take
I'm in
the
a
risk.
I'm in a Dr. Seuss improv class right now. But I
Hang it
think
off.
but the worst, it's just like I say this to people about asking out a girl. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They say no. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
What's the worst that was going to happen? Was, oh, you can't be in there. What, you got tickets? Yeah, right here. I go back to your seats.
Yeah,
They're not going
you're
to kick us
right. You're
out.
right.
Uh-huh.
Take the risk. Live life on the edge, people.
And
Do fentanyl.
Yeah.
Do everything but fentanyl.
Fentanyl's in every... Dude, my fentanyl has too much fentanyl in it.
I know, man.
Can you believe this?
Yeah.
Folks, I just got in from Portland, and boy, are my arms tired from the heroin, folks. The heroin. Shout out
Hey-o.
to Portland, by the way. Bunch of fucking weirdos. Dude, yeah. I also... Something you said in there of like, I hate at concerts when the audience isn't giving the right amount of energy to something.
Yeah.
I saw that once at a Roots picnic with Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, and
Herky jerky daffodil, scoodle poodle on the hill. Girl, you know your diddle by scoodle.
yeah, them.
Hey.
But they were killing it, and the dude just started yelling at the audience, and it just felt good. So that was cool.
Every Billy Joel concert I go to, if I sit in the Live Nation seat, section 110, people don't stand, and I stand up and dance. And I've had the security come to say, "Yeah, you got to sit down. You know, you're blocking their view." And I go, "I'm at a fucking concert. What do you want me to do?" Like when I saw the Shins, it was at Radio City, and nobody stood until their second part of the show. Like they played a full album, and I was like, I even texted Morty. I was like, "Dude, nobody's dancing," and he's just like, "Yeah, that makes no sense." Like if you're at a concert, the point is to stand up. Now, what's coming in?
Unless it's Bon Iver.
It's funny that you brought. We're talking about that as I talk about.
How long is this one? Because what I'm
short.
saying is, okay,
It's
then
short.
we'll end on this. Coming in at number 4.
Oh, okay. Number 4 is Sigur Rós, night 1 at the Beacon Theater.
Sigur Rós?
Sigur Rós, I think that's how you say it. They're a Scandinavian band from Iceland that had a real moment in like 2000 where I think they were like being compared to Radiohead. They sing in their native language. The music is like every song's like 8-9 minutes. It's beautiful, like almost psychedelic, but like very ambient and beautiful. And I knew about 2 songs by them. Wasn't a fan at all. But I had a show at Stand Up New York, and I was running late because I have to take the train. And so as I get off the 72nd Street station, I walk by the Beacon, and I see Sigur Rós is there, and the show started at 8 o'clock. And my spot time was 8:15. I think it's about 8:30, so I'm really behind. And I walk in, and the lady Lou is like, she's like, "Josh, you missed it. We had to keep moving on with the show. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's my bad. I fucked up." And I go, "I'm gonna try to see if I can get tickets to that Sigur Rós show. I don't have another spot until like 1 a.m. So why not?" Even though it said sold out, I go up to the ticket people. I'm like, "Hey, do you have any tickets for sale?" And he's like, "Yeah, actually we do. We have 2 seats." He goes, "One's $90 and one's $130." I'm like, "Well, what's $130?" He goes, "$130. It's in the second row, dead center." And I'm just like, "All right, I'll take that one." Now I don't know their music that well, and I walk in, and dude, everybody's sitting. And the lights are dark, and there's just a little bit of light on stage. And then, like I said, it's very like ambient, airy. And the guy has this beautiful falsetto. And I walk down to where I think my seats are. I'm assuming, and there's just 4 seats that are open right in the front. Like literally, it's like he's where you are, Adele. There's the stage ends where that glass is. Here's the first row, and then I'm right here. And I just go, I guess I'm just going to sit here. These got to be my seats. Well, they weren't my seats.
Okay.
But
Are you on stage?
I mean, might as well have been. It was, for somebody that didn't know the music or anything, I don't think I've ever been so captivated by a show I am just mouth open at this guy's voice.
Scandinavian Angels.
He makes up the lyrics too, because he doesn't always sing in Scandinavian. On his second record, they call it Hopelandic, which is him just singing the phonetic sounds of the words that he feels would fit here. It's really weird. But the music is gorgeous. And like I said, everybody's sitting. They did an hour and a half. Then they took a 20-minute intermission. Then they played another hour. And that final hour, it was like finally, like they started playing like heavier stuff, and the audience starts standing. And I'm like hitting my weed pen, just like, this is insane. Like,
what does he look like? Describe him to me.
Just like a kind of like a weird white guy with like a Dutch face and this weird hair, but he's got like kind of a mullet. And the band, they're all dressed like in really nice vests and suits and just very dark. And like the lead singer has this scarf on, and he plays like the guitar with a bow.
Scandinavian.
Okay.
Very, very, like Bjork's dad.
Okay.
And
I got it.
But it was so incredible that, after the show, it was like, I remember I walked back downtown because I just wanted to keep listening to it. And then the next night, Burr was in town, and I met him for a cigar. And at the time when he's in town, he has a condo by Times Square. And after he left to go to his show, I was looked, and I was like, they're playing again tonight. And I went again the next night and got this almost the same seat. It wasn't the same experience because they did the same set list. And also I had to sit next to a dude that was so fucking weird. I feel like it was his first time out of his house since like March 2020. Like he yelled at me when I was opening up a Ricola. He just like shushed me. He was like, shh. I was like, I'm done. My throat hurts.
That's a bit much.
Yeah. But the show, and he was such a weird guy. Would I say it's the best concert? No, but it was like to be so blown away by a show. It was like really
instant fan.
Amazing.
Well, it's just a thing of like, it was low expectations, but you didn't really have any expectations. So that's just, there's nothing better than that.
No,
concert.
And I've been now. They're like the band. It's a perfect band to listen to as you walk around New York City at night. And so now it's made its way into like my
playlist of your life.
Yeah. But it's just that it was such a cool experience to be that close, and their light show, and it would be something I wish I could do again. I would love to take mushrooms and go see them. Like that would be like, oh.
But it'll be nothing like the
I'll do
first
Billy
time.
Joel with you. I don't know about those guys.
It's weird, but it's fucking beautiful.
Nice.
And just like this episode, folks, that's it. Hopefully, Josh can come back because
you have to do your top 3.
We've got 3 more.
We can't. It's over.
It's over?
It's an hour podcast. This is the first time this has ever happened, and I realized that this is how I wanted to do it either way. I would rather get the real 6.
This is awesome.
As opposed to, like, rush it. It didn't feel right.
No, and I think some of them are the stories. There's always this. It's not just like when you're talking about something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's the experience. There's more to it than just the concert. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I
it's a setup.
It's more than just the list. We'll do your top 3 and we'll do your honorable mentions, and it'll be another episode.
Okay.
How about that, Adele? Where can the people find you?
Follow me on Instagram, Adele Carollo. Make sure you subscribe. Top 9 Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Say hello in the comments.
Yes. Josh?
At Josh Adam Meyers on all social media. JoshAdamMyers.com for tickets. And the 500 podcast on Spotify, where I'm going through Rolling Stone Magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums. And check out the new podcast, Himbos, on the Bonfire Network on Sirius XM, where me and Justin Silver are taking the word himbos back, where you can find out about fashion and manscaping and all the kind of gay shit that Justin does, and I make fun of it.
And the goddamn comedy jam is
goddamn comedy jam. I'm on tour. I got a lot by my September, October, and November are just book solid. So just go to my website.
Nice.
Come see me.
Do you have any affiliation with Rolling Stone at all?
No, they never acknowledged me. They did give me a shot.
They fucking suck, dude. Their take on like rap is like garbage. They're so bad. Like it makes me sick to my stomach. Their top hip hop albums and stuff. It was like horrible.
Well, did you see what they did? The list that we're going off of was from 2012, and during the summer of social justice, they just literally put out this new list that was just
terrible.
I get it, because my list was all old white people, and it wasn't enough culture and black artists and stuff. But the new list, it was like, well, you've just completely forgotten about white culture.
Yeah,
and it's like to take like Aquemini.
This is what we're going to talk about on the next episode.
Yeah,
folks.
dude. This is.
They put fucking Cardi B's album over Nas Illmatic. It's like whoever did that should be shot in the head. You shouldn't be able to write anything ever again.
Illmatic is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. Listen, if you really want a good version of it, he did a full performance of the record in order at the Kennedy Center. Yeah. It's so great.
Absolutely. But folks, thank you for listening.
Yes.
My name's Tom Cassidy. Cassidy Comedy. Whatever the fuck else. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.